from the top team in college to the top team in the NFC. Good producing, Marco. Packers getting ready to host the Rams in the divisional round. Green Bay, highest scoring offense in the league. Rams allowed the fewest points, both units. Powered by a guy named Aaron. Here's Rodgers on facing Donald. Good matchup there.
He's a special player. Obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. An impact player every single year. A guy that you have to game plan for. You have to be aware of where he's at all times. And just one of those special talents that we haven't seen a whole lot of in this game, in the history of the game.
He's feeling really good. You know, we're just going to really rest him the whole week and be as smart as possible. I mean, he was just in there getting a workout in the weight room, and he looked like he's feeling pretty good to me. So unless something unforeseen happens, Jordan, the Terminator will be ready.
So the Terminator and the number one scoring defense in the league will take on the number one scoring offense at Lambeau. There have been 4 matchups like this in the past 20 seasons. 3 times the better defense won that game. That includes a pair of Super Bowls won by the Seahawks and the Patriots. Podcast superstar Chris Long joins us. Check out the Green Light podcast with Chris Long. And Chris, we're talking about Aaron Donald here. And I know that you and pretty much all of us that watch the guy believe he's the best in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball. But I didn't play the game you did doing what he does. So what should I understand about Donald that makes him different than anybody else? What makes him as great as he is?
Well, the physical to start off with, Scott, was, is a guy people are looking over quite literally because he's about 6 feet tall. But the thing about a defensive tackle like him is he has length in the levers like he's 6'5", and he practices at 100 miles an hour. I mean, I've never seen anybody work like him. From the minute he got in the league, I remember I kicked him out of the film room at 9 o'clock because I needed the monitor, like his 3rd day in training camp. Nobody was ever in that film room that late. And I walk in, and here's this kid who's been there 3 days, and I'm like, he's going to be pretty good because he gets it, and he plays like a pro.
When you are battling a rib injury, and you're not him, but you've played through all of it, what would be the concern? It's freezing cold, this and that. How might that limit his ability to be who he is?
Well, really, my only concern will be where the doctor sticks the needle. Does he mess the injection up? Yeah, so he's going to be fine, I'm sure. I mean, he's a tough dude. He wants this as bad as anybody. And I think he's going to need to be tough in that game because if you can make Aaron uncomfortable, this could be an interesting game. And on the other side, what happens with Goff, okay? Because they knew he was healthy enough to take number 2 snaps the other day. What does that mean? That means they just felt better about Wolford in my mind. So that's going to be interesting. Cold ball, surgically repaired thumb. That's going to be a big wild card for me.
You ended your career with back-to-back rings. No big deal. And it ended in Philadelphia. And you have an understanding of the organization there. And obviously, Coach Peterson is out on Monday. We had Tim McManus on. And I want to let you hear how he described a sense of respect or lack thereof. And then I want to get your thoughts on it. Here's McManus.
That Peterson did not get the type of freedom that some Super Bowl winning head coaches get, or you can argue most. And there was an opinion among some within the building that Peterson didn't get enough respect within that building.
So, Chris, you were emphatic that week 17 that night. People are losing their minds about what happened, and here comes you're pulling out one quarterback for Sudfeld and what's going on, yada yada. What's your sense of how and why it ended?
Well, after everybody ugly cried for a night over tanking, I'm pretty sure you watched the game last night. If Devontae Smith is there at 6, I think Eagles fans are going to wear the jersey no matter what. But Doug Peterson, to me, and it factors into the hiring process. You just delivered that city its first Super Bowl trophy, and within 3-4 years, you're gone. And one of the reasons you're gone is because you don't feel like you have enough autonomy. So what does that say in the hiring process? That's the scary part. Who wants to take that job? That's going to be the question. So you really got to hit on probably an up-and-comer. And I think you got to temper your expectations if you're an Eagle fan. But I love Doug Peterson. We're world champions because of, in part, his fearlessness. And I think he'll land on his feet.
I would agree. I think he's certainly got options. I think that's part of the reason that you can probably afford to be like, go ahead and it's probably best for both of us. It's a rare circumstance that will be the case. I just wonder though, like between the front office, if the disconnect was such that like he did just win you a title 3 years ago, like should he have been given the autonomy that he didn't have?
Well, obviously, it could only have gone better. It hasn't been great, and I think Howie Roseman's done a lot of great things, and Jeffrey Lurie's a great owner in a lot of ways. But they haven't been hitting on draft picks all the time, and the Jalen Hurts thing didn't sound like Doug's thing, to be frank. So I think one of the biggest things is, how do you address that quarterback position in the hiring process? It might not be through a head coach. You might want a culture setter like a Robert Saleh if you can get him. But you have to take care of the quarterback and then worry about what's best for the team at the head coaching hire.
All right. You once asked me,
what's your budget on this show?
I'm looking behind you there. I feel like things must be good.
Yeah.
Those podcast checks are good. You got all kinds of set dressing. It looks good.
It's a really small room, Scott. It's a lot smaller in your room. And if you need me to troubleshoot some of your tech issues up there, I'll drive up. I'm now 2 hours south, so it's good to have you down in this region, man.
I appreciate that. When we're allowed to have visitors, the first one will be you. I'm still waiting for a call to come on the pod. I guess maybe one of these days. We'll see.
Please.
We'll see when we get that call.
See you
Chris
soon.
Long. Chris Long, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, brother.
All right, man.
The worst for Coach Cal in 199 games as their coach. Last time Bama Hoops won at Kentucky, Nick Saban was the head coach of the Dolphins. Now he's won 6 titles as the head coach of the Crimson Tide. The new kings of college football are back at home. Nick Saban's priority is replacing his offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, who I believe will join us tomorrow night. And, of course, recruiting, but some time to talk about his team's achievements.
I think this team showed great perseverance, great resiliency. This is probably the team togetherness on this team. This was kind of the ultimate team. We've had teams here that have had probably more talent overall. I know we're a very talented offensive team, but I'm just saying overall, lots of players, lots of places. Very difficult to go undefeated. It's very difficult to deal with success. But whatever the challenge was for this team, they were able to do it. I'm going to remember this as a very special group.
Credentials back up Saban's claim as one of the best of all time. They established an SEC record for points per game in a season where they faced only Power 5 opponents, first in all SEC schedule, and then Notre Dame and Ohio State. They joined the 1946 Army team as the only squads to feature 3 of the top 5